What is your name?
My name Dũng. Dũng.
Chùa Tam Tu vòng
Giang Đài, River, Watching Tower.
nhưng nó gọi chùa Tam Tu, scan over cái scan over cái
Hồi trước đi.
ok.
Mấy chục chữ này kia. Đi ra đường này.
Rồi như vậy đứng lại ok. Hay quá, chỗ này hay quá, mặc dù đi rồi mà đi lâu lắm rồi.
Tương lai kia nó cô biết hương sữa nhiều lắm rồi.
Phải sửa cái giếng là phải tu bổ chứ.
Đi du khách nhiều quá thành ra phải sửa đàng hoàng cho ta đi thôi ta té. Ôi cái nước này nước gì lạ ha.
Vô đi học. Rồi cũng nghe đi.
Luck for lucky. Yeah, for luck. He's a happy Buddha.
Is the happy Buddha?
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah, not his belly.
It's my favorite.
ngũ hành sơn.
Bisa kan dia jadi pendeta? Orang jadi pendeta bisa.
Parents, where are you?
This is the old town, right? So in Hoi An, so over 1,000 old houses were built from the late 17th century to now. Yeah, 17th century to the 19th century. So when you walk around Hoi An, you can see somehow it made from wood. Somehow it had the French style. Yeah. So Hoi An in the past is the international trading port. So a lot of ship around the world come. Netherlands, Europe, yeah, India, China, Japan, yeah. So and like a lot of foreigners come to Hoi An, but only the Japanese and Chinese was allowed to live in Hoi An forever. So like they have land, they have store like that. So the symbol of Hoi An, the Japanese call a bridge. So that bridge was built in the late 16th century by the Japanese merchant. So because the Japanese, they have the time to live in Hoi An. Yeah, from the 16th century to the 17th century. Hoi An has some heritage, the Japanese covered bridge or the Chinese temple too. So now the people know why to know the Japanese to live in Hoi An, because in the rice field in Hoi An have some the ancient tomb of the Japanese merchant. From the 16th to 17th century, so in Hoi An, we have that time law control by the Nguyen Lord, the ancestor of Nguyen dynasty. So they exchanged the letter with the Japanese government to welcome the Japanese merchant to come and exchange the goods. Especially the merchant from the Nagasaki. Nagasaki is the big box, right? Yeah. And we exchange which product we exchange? We exchange the silk, we exchange leather, spices. So in here we
Hoi An right now.
Cái này bên ngoài Hội An á.
Lúc này còn mới 6 giờ, 8 giờ quay, đừng có giờ quay đâu.
Đi lòng vòng rồi Hội An rồi.
And have you tried the bánh mì, the baguette, Vietnamese baguette? You tried that? So with flavor.
So we are vegetarian, so we
Vegetarian.
maximum egg and vegetables or vegetables and cheese. So
Yeah, okay. So like the bánh mì is a very
Hoi An market. Ok chưa? Xả đèn này. Today the rum. So they do the xả đèn. Trong trong. đảo được không em được. Now we go to the show, memory show, talk about Vietnam King, Vietnam history in Hội An. Công viên ấn tượng Hội An. King of Vietnam. Còn hến.
Nhiều người đi chứ.
Nhiều đi. Còn hến. We approach the show right now. Cái show cái đấy gì?
Sẵn rồi trong vụ đông người.
Thẳng. Cảm ơn. Chưa được đấy.
Lát mình xuống cái này. Duyệt lại gì đó thấy không? Very detailed. I can understand them.
Anh có mấy phim mà còn nói nha. Quay không?
Quay. Quay phim này quay nè.
Không được xem con là sao phim em. Cân nhiều không? Anh là giữ đó, không có gì luôn. gạt kia chết rồi, nhưng bây giờ nào anh còn có map, còn không có map gì hết.
Memory lên Viet Nam là cái memory của mình, ký ức của mình.
Hay quá.
Thầy sư ký ức của em.
Hội An. Hay quá.
Xin cảm ơn ạ.
Hay quá, tôi rất hay. Phải phục tụi nó.
And at the time, I was like, oh no, I can't take you all the time today. So you time today.
Biology,
Mấy cái à?
Show diễn đẳng cấp quốc tế.
Đúng rồi.
Tổ hợp du lịch văn hóa và giải trí hàng đầu thế giới.
Hay quá.
Bên kia nó có mấy cái bụi, nó có giống như rừng tre, nó làm giống như bên Nhật. Bao này
Today is March 19, 2026. We're at the 14th floor of the 16th floor hotel in Da Nang. Here's Da Nang City.
bà mặc cái bà mặc với con nửa ngày cái áo một an này mà bà mua gì một an này kia tùm lum chẳng có con được mặc của vài tiếng đồng hồ.
Today is March 19, 2026. I go to Cầu Rồng. Cầu Rồng. Cầu Rồng.
cái xe tự động
À,
không
tự
có
động.
sao, nó giống như là nó không có mặt, nó không có khỏe. Sang số nó khỏe hơn lên đồi này kia, lên đèo lên đồi.
We are in the river here, in the Triangle Bridge. Have you ever come here?
Yes. This is our first time. Nhưng mà hồi đó cô tới đây chưa có cái ký ức Hội An. Cô Hội An là mới được 8 năm rồi đó. Qua thấy là cuối cùng hát birthday là happy 8 năm. Happy birthday từ đâu đấy mà nhìn lên sân khấu rồi. Được 8 năm, kỷ niệm 8 năm rồi. Không biết ai có cái ý nghĩa nghĩ là cái show đó hả?
Thấy giá đó.
Phải có cái đầu óc mới được.
Đúng rồi.
Phải bút, phải thinking, phải suy nghĩ ha, hay thiệt chứ. Cái cung về văn hóa nghệ thuật đó. Anh nghĩ mình phải muốn trở lại, mình nên coi cái đỏ gì đó, cái show đó. Anh nghĩ nó không dở đâu. Ở chỗ cái gì đó, ở chỗ Nha Trang.
Mai mốt tưởng trở lại anh coi này nữa. Coi lại cũng được.
Maybe some people here want to sleep, but maybe it's not there. Maybe it's not there because when we finish the second one, come to the first one, we have about 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20 minutes, so that's a lot of time. Maybe you can sleep there.
Ivan Martin. Cao như vậy đó.
Oh yeah, it's high. Không biết bao nhiêu mét hả? Không hay.
Lên đèo Ivan.
We are climbing up right now. We just start. Giờ đường thì đậm nhiều rồi, bé rồi. Quay được đi.
Mấy là giám Mỹ đó, nói tiếng accent của Mỹ đó. Có thể là Australian. Chứ Mỹ nó sẽ
Nói khó nghe đâu, không dễ nghe như vậy.
tại Mỹ nó cũng ít đi đây. Đừng muốn tốt đây.
No, bây giờ better. I think they widen right. Before nó nhỏ xíu à. Bây giờ đường đỡ nhiều rồi, hồi xưa nhỏ xíu xíu à. Hồi xưa chỉ có one lane thôi. Something like that. Now it's much better. Không biết đẹp chưa. Bãi biển này, Lampo Beach.
Các bạn kia
Cảnh xuống Huế luôn hay. Phương sẽ xây cái bên hông ở đây.
They're
gonna build is up in homes. Sang bằng hết đất luôn.
Người ta đang xây
dưới chân núi thôi đúng không? À trên
Chân núi thì cũng phải chân núi ngang ngang
ngang núi.
Cái gì hả?
Phú Lộc.
Để mình biết bảo vệ.
Đúng rồi. Đấy, nói gì hay đấy. Nói gì hay đấy. Đừng bánh con vậy.
Cái một của ba, cái một của ba tô đâu đó. Đừng có số cao suối nữa.
Bây giờ mình đi chơi này là biết được hết rồi.
Kỳ đó mình không đi xe lửa cũng có đi ngang đèo đó chứ.
Sợ không đi chắc đi ăn cho đến đây được.
Mà mình đi ngang đèo buổi sáng chút thôi.
Đúng rồi. Chụp quay phim lum là không.
Quay phim thì mẹ ngủ còn ngủ thì phải. Cái chừng qua rồi mẹ mới thức dậy. Chỗ này sắp xếp chỗ ba cô. Tâm phải cái chỗ này là núi ba cô đúng không? Dạ. Đi chụp hình cái gì đó. chỗ này đúng rồi, chỗ này đúng rồi. Nhưng mà hồi xưa đâu có xây mà tùm lum, giờ đang xây tùm lum. Đây nè, cái này nè. Đúng rồi, mẹ nhớ cái này nè, nhớ cái bản này nè. Mẹ đi đứng chỗ đó chụp hình đó. Vậy nó cân mình lên cái
giờ xuống dốc rồi đó. We stop in the middle of the heaven to see the view. Yeah. Now projection me Huế and back to probably about 80 kilometers away from Huế. Xuống dốc liên tục rồi. Tín ngưỡng đó tốt cái gì là không đó có cái biểu
đúng lắm, thấy có mấy người đứng thấy tâm cực cầu nguyện hay cái gì
gì là luôn rồi. đâu. Nói như
Đi Tono.
đi xe đạp
Tono chắc cũng dài á. Dài đâu.
không
Tono là bỏ cái núi ra.
thì tầm Nhật nó xây
Nhật nó làm thì an toàn, còn mấy thằng hoạt tàu nó làm nó ngáp. Tàu làm cái ghê, nó làm thì đảm bảo. Ok. Nó gần hơn á. Còn tiền bàn là chẳng đi nhiều bàn hay sao? Giờ đi thấy đỡ rồi, có đỡ sợ. Ngoài đi theo cái đường ra 15 cô rồi. Trên cái bản để 5 cô.
đây nó hướng dẫn này cũng hay.
Em chỉ có hơi được Nhật. Em đi Nhật cho Nhật thì đi rồi em biết Nhật. Nhật hay là Đại Hàn. Không có nói nhiều đâu nhiều rồi.
Cái thành ra cái này nó cũng có mỗi ngày rồi đi gì hết cũng hay á. Thành ra nhau gấp tour mỗi ngày rồi đi có nhìn là những khách sạn ti rồi biết ngày nào cũng có thường hỏi tôi nó có
Đi chỉ có
thì thôi mỗi ngày có là
tức là đi ra Huế có tập tập
vậy thì mỗi ngày việc mình nghe
đi
lúc
qua đê á.
lúc nhân nó bút liền nó không cần hỏi thấy không vì sao nó mới gáp nó nhìn các ti rồi biết
nó bút nhưng mà tới đây thì tụi nó muốn ghép
gáp bởi vì nó cách tay nó là bút nó khó
nó
liền
không biết đứa nào đi đứa nào là tụi gái đứa nào mình cứ crush nó làm sao biết được.
nhưng mà mình phải biết mà thích cái nhân của mình để
Có một tuần lễ nó thấy nó ra nhiều cái thằng này
nó biết mình không biết mình nói hả
nhiều khi đi cho đại cái tên nào nó sẽ quá đi cho đại cái tên nào đi tuần sau
chúng nguyện mà mình đã xây đường mình lên nó xây bằng cái chắc rồi tại phía nó ta lấy
xuống cái phía dốc
thì cái phía trung tâm nhiều ra để xây đường còn cái dân này nó là có cũng hay cũng có cái nước chuyên kinh Lanco Beach. Đẹp quá ha.
Biển Lanco là một trong những bãi biển beautiful beach in the world.
Đẹp lắm.
Biển xưa cát trắng đó mà trắng đấy. Lanco này là famous. Hình như có cái phi trường cam ranh ở trong chỗ
quanh quanh thôi. Quanh từ quanh quanh vậy thôi.
Sân bay
sân bay gì? Phú Bài đúng rồi, lộn với lại Cam Ranh ngày xưa là chỗ đó là lính đơn vị cái nó có cái Cam Ranh đó.
Base.
Cái Cam Ranh B đó. Đang sửa đường xe lửa nè. Những cái đường xe lửa cũng hay chứ. Đường xe lửa cũng sát với đây.
And in lagoon here, it's not only for the view. It's also for one activity. It's very interesting and very difficult for tourists can know. You can see to your left side, far away there, a large area. Maybe can you guess the function or the purpose of that?
Very calm.
Oh, it's just like a hole, huh? Like that's why you call it lagoon.
The pearl farming.
Oh.
Therefore, when we come here, like around here,
nó có oyster.
we
Okay,
can
that's
see
why.
like and we on the way come to the lagoon here, we can see around like many
nuôi cái con trai đó là oyster mà là ngọc trai á.
The camcoder3 is very like singular for us, right? It's beautiful, luxurious, or maybe have the function good for health. Maybe and the most important thing, washroom. Because after we finish here, when we come to the next one, about 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20 minutes more, a lot of time. Yeah, therefore I think you should do here. Very difficult for we can stop on the street. Yeah, therefore you can use the washroom here. And because we
Oyster.
Là Việt Nam người ta gọi là con hầu.
Ở trong nó nuôi con hậu.
Dẹt. Tức là người ta bỏ lên cái lốp xe bự này. Là tức là trong vòng 6 tháng, 1 năm là nó bự vậy. Còn 6 tháng tức là nó tầm cỡ này là tầm khoảng 2 tháng.
Con này còn sống hay chết rồi?
Dạ chết rồi. Đây là cái bò không 2 tháng nó bị lại đây.
Nó nuôi để
người ta bán nhà hàng ăn. Ngon lắm, bự này này.
Nó phải cho ăn.
Không cho ra ăn, tự nhiên. Dạ. Ok bạn.
Cảm ơn.
Dạ, không có gì. I'm sorry, where you from? Singapore, Ni Hao. Oh. Yes, Singapore.
他们就抓这些了，有些是客来的。
Thi.
Mon père, maintenant, il travaille en île, sur une île, et il achète beaucoup de crevettes. Oh, lăng cô nè. Lăng cô nè bạn. Lăng cô Huế nè.
Hấp. Thôi đi. Quét đâu đâu cái đó thấy đó nè nào sao vậy nè
He also does not run against the French. Even he liked the European architecture. Yet therefore he lets people come to foreign country to buy the new material. At that time is the glass or the cement. Yeah. Vietnam at that time is very poor and cement is very expensive for us. Yet therefore the king here increased the taxes of the people up to 30%. Therefore when tell about the contribution of the king for country like the God like us, it does not have the government by the people. And one more thing with the tombstone is often written by son for the father. However, we have two differences. The first is the 4 kings, because the 4 kings those are the children. And the second is the 12 king here, because he only have one son. His son at that time 12 years old and are studying in the French. Yes. Here, well, later when you come to the tombstone, you will see it's the different language. It's not same with alphabet in the modern life. It's a little bit same with the Chinese word.
When was that? Which period of time?
What?
Which period of time?
This one was built in 1920. 1920, that's been over 100 years.
And who was the king?
The 12 king.
Khải Định nên Khải Định
Yes. And I told that often written by son for the father. However here, because he only have one son. His son is studying the French. Also know about ancient language. However, he is not good enough to write tombstone like that because it's very difficult. Yet therefore only in this tomb and in the 4th tomb. Yeah, it's not written by son for the father. Written by mandarins for a king. Yes. And one more difference saying of this tomb to compare with other tomb. That's been behind that wall is the way the coffin of the king come to grave. Yeah, that's been behind that wall. Every important construction in Huế also have a wall in front of construction like against the best thing come into important place. Yes. In other tomb we don't know because maybe they fear it's will attacked by the enemy or maybe some valuable thing buried with the king may be stolen. However, only in this tomb here, yes, we have the picture of the magazine and we know the way the coffin of the king come to grave behind that wall. Yes. And one more thing, from Imperial City come here, only 15 kilometers. However, they spent 2 days and 160 people, yeah, only for carry the coffin of the king. Yeah. Therefore, it's had a lot of interesting information about the tomb here. But when we're standing here, it's just like a small park. Yes. Now we continue walking. We'll come to the far away there. You see the main hall in the center. Yes, in the palace. For we come inside to see the most special place here. Yes. Okay, you can follow me a little bit first.
Could ask, how come it has like black color?
Yes.
The
Like color here, it's have the bad effect by the nature. Yeah, because you're standing here, if you go up more, you see it's not the black, it's the white color. Okay,
cái xi men
đúng rồi
we'll come inside so we can see the architecture first.
hay quá
You know what I think in the old times maybe the cement, the material that they use is not good. Yeah, they don't have any technology yet. So as time go by, it turns black. Yeah, but I like the new, the natural and such renovation. This is my homeland. Yeah, my motherland. And he's from Greece. Oh, Greece? Yes, yeah, Greece. We've been in your country 2 times. Really? Yeah. Chỗ này đi tới cái hang này nó đẹp nhất đó. Từ cái ông vua này. Cung thiên đình là the most important.
Бля, не настолько.
Вот если ты прям несу будешь, то увидишь. Вот я когда в Карелию
the most in Viet Nam. The kingdom of three, the son of the kingdom of two. The kingdom of three will run for 60 years. Here, continues to develop 120 before the start of prophecy. After the kingdom of four, the kingdom of four is the son of the kingdom of three. The kingdom of four will run for 60 years.
We come to the center here, after outside. And the name is Kingdom Palace. Kingdom Palace does mean the palace was built by organization. The name of this palace, the palace was built by organization. That's the name. Yes. And in Asian culture, we have a word we call it the feng shui. Yeah, that's basically for you can easily understand, like bring the luck for you. Yeah, bring the luck for you just easily like that. If construction located in good location, in front is the water, behind is the mountain. Yeah, that's a good thing bring the luck for you. And this construction also have the same way. In front is a stream of flow, behind is the mountain. Yeah. And the two here was built in 1930. Finished in 1931. That means 11 years. However, the king died in 1925. That means he spent a lot of money, a lot of effort for the tomb here, but he cannot see his public. Yes. And we see in the center. Yeah, spend short time, take a look from on top, come to the bottom. Yeah. We see to the ceiling here first. We can see a painting. The name is Nine Dragon hidden in the clouds. The name of the painting, Nine Dragon hidden in the clouds. Yes. And it's painted by an artist. His name is Frank Van Tan. Yes. And when he painted, because for the painting like that, right? Yes. Therefore, he need two lines to paint. Yeah. And when he liked, he used all of the mouth, the two hand, and the two foot to paint it. Yes. Maybe the dragon is implied for the king, but you, the foot to paint, is not respect the king, right? Yeah. Therefore, one time the king come here to see process with the tomb. He saw that and he is very angry. Yeah. However, the artist says that, like, the first he used whole body, make it faster, keep on time for the king. And the second, if he use the hands, the distance from the eye come to the painting is very close. It's very difficult for you can see whole painting like that. If he use the foot, the distance from the eye come to the painting is farther. Yeah, easier for me to see whole painting. Yeah. And after we finish the painting here, we also get a position in the curiosity, like the treatment of the king for him. Yes. And this one, over 100 years, however, it does not have any dust or any spider web. Yeah. Therefore, until nowadays, they don't know what kind of material he used to create a wonderful painting like that, but does not have the bad effect by the nature. Yes. And every number in Vietnam also have the meaning here. Nine dragon, number 9, represent for eternity. Eternity. Yeah.
So more or less all the constructions here are like 100 years old.
This one, yes. All building here, yes, yes. I told that this one from 1920 to 1931, yes, 11 years. And now with one more time, because now with more we can see a parasol here, made from concrete. We see it's very light, but it's very heavy. This one, 1,000 kilogram. Yeah. Now with one more time, we can see in the center, it's the bronze statue of the king. Yeah. Like a little bit, we can see the sun. Sun is symbolic for the king, and this is the sunset, represent for the dance of the king. Yeah. Now with one more time, we can see 3 steps here. Number 3 here, for the heaven, the earth, and the human. That's why the king want to reign, control, develop the country. They have the support of the 3 factors, the heaven, the earth, and the human. Yes. And from on top, come to the bottom here, come to underground, is the coffin of the king. Yes. However, just according to some documents, they are not sure 100% about that. From on top, come to the bottom here, and come to underground, is the coffin of the king. Yeah. This is about in the center. The second is about the outer. Outer is the two Vietnamese culture of Vietnam Chu Pong, the picture and the information. The picture of the king is in front of us there. You can see later. And the back here is the information. Information like the names or the years old or something like that. But in the back here we cannot come. Yeah. After about the altar, continue with around here. Around here we see Jose. The first is a lot of Chinese war like that. Yes. Because from the 1st to the 10th century, Vietnam also was occupation by China. Yeah, therefore also have influence from the language, the culture. Yeah. After come to 17th century, because some missionary from Europe come to Vietnam to convey Christianism. Yeah. And they found it's very difficult. But to be honest, it's very difficult. Therefore, they found a new way to communicate with the Vietnamese people, to see the alphabet. And after 1945, that's mean the independent days in Vietnam, we also start to use the alphabet until now. Yeah, like one extra topic, the answer for the question, like a lot of Chinese were here. Yes, and when we see around here, we will see one architecture, and it has the private name. We call it the Huế architecture. And what it is? This is the porcelain mosaic. The ceramic?
Oh yeah, the ceramic.
Yes. They will use the small piece of the porcelain or the ceramics like that to create an image of the plants or the animals or dragon. Yeah. And they said the private name people call the Huế architecture. In the center, yes. And on the way we come here, we also see some room. Yes, one room here and one more room there. This is the room for the soldier rotate the tomb. Yeah. Let's see one more thing, different to compare with other tomb. Because you know the king like often have a lot of wives, a lot of concubines. Yeah, therefore after the king died, maybe someone will follow the king's mother, someone will follow the king's grandmother, someone will come back to the hometown, or someone will come to the tomb here to burn incense, to clean the tomb like that. Yeah, therefore in the tomb often have the room for the concubine. Yeah. However, only in this tomb is not. This king does not good relationship with his concubine. They are not like his concubine. If you want another answer, maybe you can ask me later. Yeah. If you want to know why, maybe you can ask me later.
So
yeah.
basically they have no, I mean, how do you call it? The one that follow his role. I mean,
No, he also have concubines.
concubines, yeah, concubines.
Concubines. He also have many wives, many concubines, but he does not like them.
Okay.
It's for the language because
How many of them? Do you have any idea? How many concubines?
He has 14.
14, not bad.
for the language because the influence was from China as well. I'm wondering because we see signs in Chinese. Do Vietnamese people know Chinese?
No.
No.
So in the old time, I believe, because my dad knew Chinese, but it was a long time ago, but he was occupied by China for almost 1,000 years. It's a
And so
long
that's,
time ago.
from
That's
7
why you see all of the structure here with the Chinese characters.
And so after 17th century, we start to know and we start to use about the alphabet. And then nowadays, if you come to Vietnam and you ask about the people know it or not anymore, they don't know. They just know if they study, if they learn about Chinese.
Only the old people would know.
Yes. And therefore in the tomb here, I told with the showroom like that, in the room for the soldier, rotate the tomb. Yes. And now they use the showroom there for they can show the picture or the belongings of the king. You can spend time there to see. Yes. Therefore now you can spend a short time for you can see the architecture inside the tomb here. Yeah. Or in the both side there, for you can see the picture of the king, the belongings like that. After that.
Ừ.
Ổng tuổi mua tại chú người ta nói tuổi mua tại Bồ Đào Nha và sử dụng là vũ khí chính trong các cuộc giao chiến của quân Tây Sơn.
Hay á.
Vậy cái này chịu ngược phương tranh là mình đánh với nhau á.
Trong nội chiến. Chưa còn 10 phút nữa, 10 phút nữa. Chắc đóng lại. Rồi có điện, cái tư một điện ra một đi ra đây. Ta ra không cho cái gì ra, tôi thấy cả cái dây không? Đi.
Hồi xưa cơ. Ô đây là nhỏ này, vậy hết rồi, vậy đi ra ngoài trước là chụp cái mình ngoài trước là xuống là bây giờ.
Nãy chụp rồi.
Không chụp từ đây xuống nè. Nó chụp một bên quăng vỏ chưa chụp nè. Đây là chụp chỗ này là chỗ này đẹp nè.
Xuống nữa.
Dạ. Kia đã.
Thì đứng muốn chụp thì đứng ra đây đừng đi chụp. Không gì phải nhanh. Nè. Nữa. Trời ơi cái hãy chơi như lên. Nè, muốn chụp đây thì được rồi nha, nè, đang rồi. Đứng lên đây. Nè. Rồi đi xuống.
Ba chụp ba coi lại chẳng thấy điện đâu. Chẳng thấy cái điện đâu.
Hay cái nó mất liền cho coi để chụp cho ra.
Ok.
to Vietnam at the time, you can see like the tourism or the high-rise building like that, right? But in the past, the main job of Vietnam also the farming, agriculture. Yeah, therefore like from sunrise, working from sunrise and come to the noon is very.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not in America, sorry. You work 12 hours.
And after working in the
But in
afternoon,
cold South Europe, Europe, you have this
Oh yeah, 12-hour shift. I do work 12-hour shift.
Greek,
Half an hour break.
in the afternoon.
Yeah.
and after they walking, sunset, we have time to come back, right? Because it's getting dark. Yeah. And after come back, after they walking, it's very hungry like that. Yeah, the tradition from the past until now about the time to have lunch, have dinner. Yeah. Maybe do you try the Vietnamese food? Have you ever tried Vietnamese food? Maybe can you give me some name? Banh mi, yeah.
How about phở?
You have a good pronunciation.
Phở, bún chả. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. What else?
Phở, PHO.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh. Very. Yes. Very kind of food for you. Yes. Phở. PHO.
Not PhD.
The noodle short. Yeah. If you want to try it. Yes, this one. Yeah, maybe you can. Maybe if you want to try, in another city also have it. Maybe if you want to try, you can try in the north. Like it's most popular.
Này cầu mới, còn cái cầu cũ bên kia phải không?
In Vietnam, like the Chinese.
Đẹp ha, cầu mới cho làm đẹp quá chừng.
And our religion là
Sông Hương,
all the way.
Tô Phiếu River.
We will be. Here we will spend some minutes for we can walking and 35 minutes for we can explore in the pagoda, and at 1:45 the bus will park here at 1:45. Come back to the stair. Yeah, you take the bus here please. Yeah, at 1:45. Okay. Vậy đó mình sẽ đi tham quan ha. Còn 1:45 mình trở lại xe giùm con ha.
Ok, thank you.
45.
Yeah. 1:45 đỡ xe nha. 1:45 là mới đi đó.
Ok.
Yeah. Yes, okay, let's go to the Champa people. Champa people from the 2nd to the 15th century. After 15th century, because of some political problem, therefore they start to move to the south. And now you can understand the Champa people like an ethnic minority in Vietnam. Yes. And one group, they moved to Cambodia. Yeah, therefore in Cambodia have a city with the name Cam Bông Cham. This is the place the Champa people live there. Yeah, because I saw that in the past, the central of Vietnam, this area is not belongs to the Vietnamese people. Yeah, therefore you can see the Thiên Mù Pagoda here, like the first appearance of the Nguyen dynasty ancestor come to Huế. Yes, and I thought that this is the pagoda, the place worship Buddhism. A sanctuary, a place for me, maybe for you can pray some lucky say. Yeah. Therefore, after introduce for you here, like your free time, your private time, maybe come there and pray some lucky say for you. Yeah. We will spend a short time. We take a look around here. In front of us here is the symbol of the pagoda. If you search Thiên Mù Pagoda on the internet, you will see this one first. Yes. And it is the tower. It's at the 7th floor. 7th floor here represents for the 7th step of the Buddha when he was born. Yeah, just was born, but he can walk. And 7th step blooms 7 lotus flower. Yeah, number 7 here represents for that story. Yeah, and in the past, in the 7th floor, we have a golden statue. But after the time of war, it was stolen. Yes, and now it's always closed. It just open once a year, 1 year, 1 time. Yes, in April 15 lunar month, because that's the day Buddha was born. So people can come inside to clean the tower like that. Yes, in this area. Around here, that's the place tourists often take photo. If that's in the grassy field there, take photo with the tower. Yeah. And around here, we can see many stelae. This one there. So about process build the tower here or restore the pagoda inside. Yes, one here and one more there. It's the national treasure in Vietnam. Yeah. After that, you go straight this way. You will come to the main hall or the pagoda. Main hall is the place we worship the Buddha statue inside. In Buddhism, in Vietnamese culture, also with a lot of Buddha. However, we believe with the three main Buddha. The first one is Amitabha Buddha, like the Buddha of the past.
Sa mère elle est morte, je crois, on l'a pas fait. Đẹp hơn nhiều. Nó có vẻ thơ mộng hơn. Đông lên. Bởi vậy mấy cô gái Huế là mấy cô mộng mơ lắm.
Dòng số hương này bắt đường từ đâu Tâm?
Số hương này từ trên núi Bạch Mã chạy xuống.
Bạch Mã ở sao ạ?
Bạch Mã của mình chứ.
Ở đâu?
Dạ, ở phía ngoài cái lúc mình lăn ô mình chạy qua là mình thấy núi quá trời núi từ Bạch Mã.
Ồ, rồi ok.
Trên đường mình chạy vô đây mình thấy mấy cái dãy núi to to đó. Phía trước mình sẽ thấy được một cái lầu nhỏ nhỏ. Cái này mà gì là người Việt Nam mình thì rất là quen, mình biết chỗ này là gì mà.
Cái nào Phủ Thành nè.
Dạ không, cái chỗ đó bằng này.
Đâu? Đây hả?
Dạ.
Không biết.
Cái này là
phía bên
cái...
tay trái này, phía bên tay phải nữa, phía tay phải này nữa, phía tay phải này. Dạ, đây nữa.
Là gì?
Đây là Ngân Lương Đình và Phú Văn Lâu. Đây là cái địa điểm trên tờ 50.000 của mình.
Bến Vân Lâu đúng không? Ok. Vân Lâu còn sầu thương nhớ trên biển người cùng đợi con chờ. Con nhớ xin chờ
Cổng này cổng gì Tâm? Cổng này cổng gì đây?
Cổng này là cổng Cửa Nam. Nó sẽ có nhiều cổng.
Vô cái gì này?
đi vô thành nội thành.
Cái này gọi là Kinh Thành. Sẽ có 3 lớp. 3 lớp: Kinh Thành, Hoàng Thành và Tử Cấm Thành. Mình ở đây mình đang ở Kinh Thành. Mình qua cái bức tường ở phía trước mặt mình sẽ vô tới lớp thứ 2 gọi là Hoàng Thành.
Qua Cửa Thành.
Thành rồi Tử Cấm Thành, cái chỗ đó nghe ghê.
Tử Cấm Thành là nơi gia đình vua sinh sống ở trong.
Tử
mình nghe ghê. Tử
sẽ chết chứ.
Dạ không, tử này không phải là chết mà tử này gọi là màu tía. Tử này trong tiếng Hán dịch ra là màu tía. Cái thành cấm màu tía, màu đỏ tía.
Tử Cấm Thành, cái bắt trước giống như tàu hả? Tàu có Tử Cấm Thành.
We right here. We will walk about 5 minutes from here up to the gate. Okay. Okay, let's do this area so they can build Imperial City with the 3 zones. We are standing here like the first zone. Also have the normal people, also have the citizen. When pass through that gate, we'll come to the second zone. That means the place, the kings and the mandarins work. And the third zone, you can understand like the king's family inside with the 3 zones like that. And when they build Imperial City, have Jew influence. The first is the French influence. Yes, therefore the shape of the imperial city here have a shape of a Vauban fortress, a kind of French military fortress. And the second is the Chinese influence. Yes, therefore when we come inside there, we can see some construction have the same name with Forbidden City in China. Yeah, Chu influence like that. Yes, and we will spend short time, we take a look around here. On the post, we also see in the center of the imperial city the flag pole. Yes, in the past they put the Ming Dynasty flag there. Yes, and it's not only that they put the flag, but also a defensive fortress to protect imperial city. Yes, therefore you see when we come here, we have one way with the sign and another way with the sign, but in the middle doesn't have any way, because in the middle is a defensive fortress to protect the imperial city. And on the way we come here, do you see the cannons? Yes, yeah, the cannon, right? We have all of 9 cannons. After Ming Dynasty have the victory with another dynasty, they start like collect drones of the enemy to build some cannon like that anniversary and show the power. We have all of 9 cannon. That's how we have 4 with the name of 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. That's how we have 5 with the name of 5 elements: mental, wood, water, fire, and earth. And all of 9 cannon like that is the national treasure in Vietnam. Yes, both sides. Before we come to the gate, we can see a small river. People call it the Golden River. Yes, it's not have the gold there, but just the function. Its function is regulate water inside and outside imperial city. Because I told the weather in Hue is severe, harsh. Rain often lasts for a long time. Yeah, therefore they put the river like that, prevent flooding inside and outside imperial city. Yes, and when we're standing here, we also see different material. The around us made of brick. How you see the 3-way in the center made of stone. Yes, we call it the central axis. Yeah, most of important place, most of construction used for the king also located in the central axis like that. From Perfume River come to Flagpole, and after that take us come to the gate. Yeah, take us come to the gate. This is the main gate when we come inside, and this is the south gate.
Mẹ đứng chỗ này bà chụp, mẹ đứng cho có cái góc có bà chụp lại thứ hết cái cây đằng kia kìa, cái cây sứ này nói.
Nè, nhanh lên.
Đó, đúng rồi, anh chị nhìn ra ngoài một cơ nha. Đó, đúng rồi, ok, chị quay mặt nhìn ra ngoài ra một cơ luôn. Đúng rồi, ok.
Vâng, khu Huế.
Mình biết gì mua chứ mình mà làm. Mua thì chỗ trái.
King, the relative and foremost important Mandarin. Other people need to stay outside here. Yes. If your position is higher, you will closer with the palace. If your position is lower, yes, maybe you will far away there. Yes. The last line is the line for old people. Yes. Although they do not have any position in imperial city, however, because of old people have experience, yeah, maybe they also have a good idea for country status, yeah, therefore they also can join here. Yes, and from the gate come here to see this palace. Maybe you see a little bit new because it just restored in the end of 2024. Yes, a lot of building here is damaged and destroyed after a lot of time of war in Vietnam. Yeah, therefore we need to restore that with the two main color, the red and the golden color. Yeah, and this one is the real gold. Yes. In order to restore this building, they use about 30 kilograms of gold to restore them. Yes. And we also see the glass here. This building is about 200 years ago. Yes. Therefore, in the past, we do not have glass. We use the bamboo and inside we'll burn incense to have the smoke. But people outside here cannot see the king's face. It's not easy to see the king's face. However, come to the time of the 12th king. That's when the king of the tomb in the morning will come. Yes. And his birthday, 40 years old. Just 40 years old with the life of Vietnamese people at that time is very short. Called the Mandarins. Mandarins prepare themselves before come to walk with the king. Before we come to walk with the king, this is the Cần Chắn Palace. The palace all revealed outside. The palace all revealed outside. This is the place the king walked. Because I told that this palace is used for important day, anniversary, and one month tribe. The first and the 15th day. Yes, therefore in the 5th, the 10th, the 20th, the 25th, the king will walk here. In general, in daily life, the king will walk here. The place the king walk. Yes. After the place the king walk, we'll come to the place the king live. Yes. Living, eating, sleeping, in general, activity of daily life will happen in this area. Yes, this palace. After the palace for the king, we'll come to the palace for the concubine. This one, and with a large area here for the king concubines. However, come to the time of the 12th king, I told that because he does not want to close with his concubines. Yes, therefore he starts to build a new one, King Trung Palace. We will see later. It was built by 12th king. However, related to the time of the last king, because when he is a king, only one wife, one husband. Yes, therefore it's the place the king's family lives inside here. After we finish in the King Trung Palace, also finish the central axis I told for you. You see, most of important place also located in the central axis like that. And when we finish in the King Trung Palace, we see in the northern have a small gate. This is the north gate. Beside the north gate, we can see a small pavilion. This pavilion used for the hobby of the king. See the moon. Look at the moon. Yeah, pavilion. After in the center, continue with the right side. We also see some construction, but we do not count. We do not count for two reasons. The first is enough for the king. This one is for grandmother, the king's grandmother. This one is for the king's mother, And this one, temple, the play worship 10 of 13 kings of Nguyễn Dynasty, the play worship king. Men will come here to worship and women will come here. Yes. In front of the temple, we can see a small pavilion. Display writes about contribution of the king for country. Yes, therefore I told that when you come to Huế, the high-rise building, something like that, have to locate it in the southern, because the building in the northern here cannot higher than this one. Yes. Therefore the high-rise building, the bank, the hotel like that, have to locate it in the southern, cannot locate it in the northern here. And because this one, the play worship king, a sanctuary, yet therefore tourists cannot come inside. Tourists cannot come inside here. Because with the right side is not for the king, and because tourists cannot come inside, yet therefore we do not come. After we finish in the central axis, we back a little bit, come to Nhật Thành Pavilion. This is the place the king worship Buddhism. Because Nguyễn Dynasty have 13 kings, and 12 of them also follow Buddhism. Yet therefore they have a place for them to worship. How about this place? Just review outside. Inside is empty. But we can spend 4 or 5 music like that, so we can watch the folk music in front of that valley. We also see some more construction, but we just go. We do not stop. We see the library, the garden, yes, and we will stop in the theater, the royal theater. Yes. But I would like to confirm with the theater here. In the theater here, they often sell tickets. If they sell 10 tickets, if they sell over 10 tickets, we'll have a performance inside and we cannot come. If they sell less than tickets, does not have a performance inside, we can come. Yeah.
Can you buy a ticket to go see the performance?
No. We need to buy a lot of time earlier because about 3 p.m. they will begin. Yes. Therefore, I'm not sure we will come here. If it's open, we come here to see. If it's closed, everything is finished. Royal blood. But when he was young, when he was a child, he lived with his mother, and the life is very difficult. Royal blood, but the life is very difficult. Yeah, therefore he knows, and he sympathizes with the Vietnamese people. And after 1885, one time he attacked the French people, but it failed. It failed. He moved to the north and he sealed the royal proclamation of Tân Vương. That means support the king. Yes. And this event have a wonderful impact, have a significant impact in whole of country. People in whole of country rose up and against the French people. But it's also not successful because different force, different weapon. The shot cannot compare with a gun like us. Yeah. Therefore, after 11 years, the revolution is suppressed and ended by the French people. He catch by the French people. The French people, they do not kill the king. Yeah, they exile. They fear the struggle in the country. They exile this king to the Algeria in Africa. Yes. Yes. Because maybe the revolution is not successful. However, because has the patriotism and one against the French people. Yeah, therefore also have the respect by the Vietnamese people. This is the number 8. After that come to the number 9. But number 9 will tell for you later. Continue with the time of the number 10. Yeah. Here the 10 king of Nguyen dynasty. Yes. Often in our minds, or when we watch movies, or we often think like the life of the king is very easy, right? Like live in the imperial city here, have the money, have the beauty, like that. However, he is not. He live in the imperial city, but he often like go out imperial city to visit, to have the Vietnamese people. Yeah. And when in the first palace, I told that with the culture like that, it's not easy to see the king's face because the king like the highest class like that. It's not easy. However, he's very modern. Like he can let the normal people close with him, see his face or something like that. It's no problem for him. Yes, and he's very young. Pay attention to the modern weapon. Power of Vietnam at that time nearly 100% on the French people. The king, but pay attention to the modern weapon. Yes, therefore the French people fear that he will attack the French people. Yes, therefore he pretend like an insane person, mentally unstable, like a little bit crazy. Yes. The king is the highest class, right? Yeah. But need to pretend like I am a crazy person to support revolution family. This king also have a lot of wives, but he does not have the children. And this king, the time of this king, Vietnam is very poor. Do not selling or trading with foreign country. Yeah. Therefore, the time of this king here start to have the appearance of the French army in the Vietnam with the time number 4. Because number 4 does not have the children. Yes, therefore number 5 here is a dark trial of the number 4. Yes. When on tournament, every king needs to reach the imperial wills. Yes. However, something like before he become a king does not good personality. Yes, therefore like something that does not good about him, he do not read it. Like edit the imperial will. That's the serious crime because disrespect for the ancestor. Yeah, therefore he does not have the approval by the people. Only 3 days. Yeah, he is not the king anymore. Yeah, only 3 days he is not the king anymore. Yes, and after that continue with the time number 6. When you're on the throne, you see a lot of problem of Vietnam, right? The king, but only 3 days, or they have the appearance of the French army in Vietnam, and the power of the imperial city at that time on the hands of the 2 most important Mandarin. He's the king, but he see that Mandarin but have so much power, even more powerful than him. Yes, therefore he cooperates. Yeah, therefore he won against the Vietnamese Mandarin, and even he cooperates with the French people to against Vietnamese Mandarin. Vietnam is small country, however has the patriotism. A king but cooperates with enemies to against Vietnamese people. Yet therefore also does not have the approval by the people. Only 4 months he is not a king anymore. Yeah.
Who was that guy? Who was that guy and why he became the king?
Yes.
Who was?
I told that the power at that time is on the hand of 2 most important Mandarin. He chosen by the 2 most important like that, but he does not want against the French people. Yes. This is the worst period of time of Nguyen dynasty because from them only 4 months, but we train the 3 kings. Yeah. After that come to the number 7. When he on the throne, only 15 years old. Yeah. And have a weak health. After 8 months, he died because of illness. However, until nowadays, they don't know he died because of illness or some person put the poison in his medicine. Yeah, also a big question until now. Number 8, I already told for you. Come to the time of number 9. Yeah, because he also does not want against the French. He like let him, his family member, or the French or the staff use the French item. He also businessman have a lot of business with the enemy, and he is the first king accept the rules of French in Vietnam. Yes, and he has a strange disease. No one can cure. After 3 years, he died because of his illness. Yeah. After I come to number 10, number 11, I already told for you. Number 12, that means the king of the tomb. In the morning we come. Yes. I told that this king also does not have so much power. He also does not want against the French. Even he liked the European architecture. Yet therefore when we come to the tomb in the morning, or when we come to the kingdom palace there, we can see the different architecture. The palace there was built by 12 kings, however, related with the time of the last king. Yeah. He is the last king of Nguyen dynasty, yes, and his life related with the number 13. Like he's the 13 kings, was born in 1913, have 13 children, or he's 85, 8 plus 5, also 13 like that. Yes, and number 13, where we stand for a lucky thing. Yeah. Maybe you come to hotel like that, 12 floor, 12A, 12B, 14th floor. That's not the 13th floor. Yes. And after 1945, he gave the seal and the shot to Republic of Vietnam, and he's not a king anymore. Yes. After 1945, he also support for the Republic of Vietnam against the French people, because the French people come to Vietnam one more time. But just a short time, because the life is very difficult. Yet therefore he changed his decision, support the French. And after the French people lose in Vietnam, he also moved to the France to live and died in the France. He had a small tomb in the France now. Yeah, that's about the last king, and also about in front of us here, hierarchical order of 13 kings, 13 emperor of Nguyen dynasty like that. Yes, and after information, yeah, now maybe a photo or something like that. Yeah, we will go back.
Con Gina đó bây giờ nó ở ngoại thành nè, nó ở trong một thành đó. Cái này phải công nhận chủ đề phòng hay thiệt ha, nó sửa hay thiệt, có bà đẹp thiệt chưa? Mấy cái ceramic này là nó làm lại hết đó. Hay thiệt, kỷ niệm của Hội An đó. Có một cái là chưa không có để cái hoa sen ở cái hồ, nó bảo để hoa sen như là perfect. Không như mấy cái này nè,
Maybe we can.
không bữa đâu hôm trước mình đi mình có thai, bữa nay đâu có thai đâu.
Có 20 xúc ạ.
It has advantage and a disadvantage because in Egypt it would be not anymore there.
cái ban đêm đẹp quá. Bé thường à, đẹp không?
Ôi cái đủ màu nha, nó đủ 7 màu á.
March 19, 2026. Bữa này đẹp quá.
An bên kia kìa, nó đang quảng cáo cái An bên
Đâu ở trong cái phim mà hay quá.
đổi màu thấy không? Cái con
nó design này cũng hay lắm á, nhưng mà dân là hay quá.
ai lên Đà Nẵng kìa, thâu ly thâu vô bên không giống như cái áo.
Đứng đi bà, đứng đi. Hả?
Thấy cô vừa tặng 15 à từ cái đồ ngay. Vâng. Em chưa?
Nó dẹp sẽ đâu rồi.
Ban đêm nó hay hơn.
Lên hay quá.
Đi em nhỏ đặt xe đấy.
Hay quá.
Đi còn muốn cái đúng rồi. Coi như cái đây. That means it's on 9:30, maybe they stop at 9. Thấy giờ đây. You know? Cái này nó gọi là cầu tình yêu nè, để phá tùm lum tà la giống như tàu có bên ra dòng sông Sen vậy. Giống như bộ qua đi chơi không rồi đi về luôn.
Ok.
Còn ban đêm nó không là hết rồi đó. Em nghĩ hay hơn Sài Gòn chỗ này. Hay hơn Sài Gòn nhiều hơn.
Đúng rồi.
Hay hơn Bạch Đăng nhiều, Bạch Đăng dở bẹt. Cái con này nó mất con núi chắc 9 giờ nó ngừng. Nó làm hay rồi, nó làm chắc ghê lắm nha bạn, nó làm chắc ghê. Cột kèo này chắc ghê. Thì nó cũng bỏ tiền đầu tư dữ ha. Thấy nó cũng hay chứ. Phải công nhận phục nó đâu nha. Nó không phải là dở đâu, nó dở nó không làm được như vậy đâu bạn. Nói tiếng khó nghe lắm.
Máy gì đâu vậy?
Phải công nhận cái ông Nguyễn gì Thanh, Bá Thanh mà ông làm cái thành phố mình đang lên quá, thành phố đây.
Cái gì cũng quay vô rồi. Đây trên kia ở đây, cái này đây cũng được làm đồ đâu rồi. Today is the March 20th, 2026. We leave in Da Nang, go to see the Queen Pearl. Today in afternoon we go to the bus station. We board the bus to Saigon and arrive Saigon tomorrow around 4 p.m. here at the Da Nang. I'm not sorry, Da Nang. They come up
then we go to Banana Hill. Okay, banana.
So it's not full of banana.
Banana Hill Mountain so high, 1,487 meters, about 1,500 meters. The way water. Lấy nước từ Viet Nam.